This is Mary of Alaska Stories.
And this is Mike. In this edition of Alaska Stories, we're looking at the Knik Alaska story. The word Knik comes from the Inupiaq word igniq, meaning fire. Located on the west bank of the Knik arm of Cook Inlet, you can drive to Knik from Anchorage, Alaska. At Wasilla, take the South Knik Goose Bay Road and follow to the now ghost town of Knik.
In the 1880s, an American trader named George W. Palmer established a trading post at a Dena'ina village that became known as New Knik. The U.S. Census shows that 46 Athabascan Indians lived there in 1880.
In the early 1890s, gold was discovered along Cook Inlet's Turnagain arm. From 1895 to 1897, the Cook Inlet Gold Rush brought many gold stampeders to the area. Because of the gold rush, Orville Herning's Knik Trading Company opened in Knik.
In the 1900s, Knik had become the commercial center for Upper Cook Inlet. By 1915, Knik had about 500 residents. The new town featured 4 hotels, 3 saloons, 4 stores, a barber shop, a pool hall, a movie theater, a U.S. commissioner, and a jail. What happened to Knik? Enter the Alaska Railroad. Instead of Knik, the mouth of Ship Creek, which would become Anchorage, was chosen by the Alaska Railroad as its headquarters. By 1917, the railroad had reached Wasilla, not far from Knik. So businesses in the town of Knik started relocating to either Wasilla or Anchorage. And during the move, some buildings were taken apart at Knik and relocated to Wasilla and other places. Today, only 2 original buildings remain in Knik. One of them is the Fulton Hershey Pool and Billiard Hall. Built in Knik in 1910, it later became a roadhouse. It now houses a museum and the Wasilla Knik Historical Society. The other building is the only original cabin left in Knik. Now, Mike, you have an interesting connection with Knik.
Yes, Mary, and this one could be called, Look, Mom, Our House is in a Museum. Patty Marion was a well-known prospector and miner in the Willow Creek Mining District, Hatcher Pass, for over 50 years. Along with his sister, his twin sister, they operated the Marion Twin Mine. The cabin they lived in may have first come from Knik, then to Hatcher Pass. Later, it was located in Wasilla, just across the street from a log building that served as the community hall and later became the Dorothy G. Page Center and Historical Museum. The Patty Marion cabin was eventually moved across the street to be put on display behind the museum. Well, one day in the early 1980s, I took my mother, Louise Doherty, to Wasilla and to the museum. And when we came upon the Patty Marion cabin, we didn't recognize it at first. Then all of a sudden, it started looking familiar to me, and I said, Mom, we used to live in this cabin when it was across the street. It's an odd thing to see your house in a museum. Next up, a look at comments from our North Stars. That's you, by the way. This one from the Homer, Alaska story. Peter submitted this memory. A homegrown girl from Homer, who later made it big in the music biz, is Jewel Kilsher. I recall that her mom, Nedra, and dad, Atz, had recorded an LP of country songs, most of them original, and wanted to help in getting demos to the music labels. I was working at one of the country radio stations in Anchorage, Alaska at the time, around 1978. One day, Nedra stopped by. In the back seat of the car was Jewel. She was all of about 4 years old at the time. Fast forward to 1995. I was working at K-Light Radio in Santa Barbara, and lo and behold, here comes this new song, Cold Song, by a new artist, called Jewel. It didn't dawn on me that the artist was Jewel Kilcher until later. I read a story about her and her family living on a homestead near Homer. When I left Anchorage in 1984, Jewel was 10 and was just beginning to sing with her dad in his band. Who would have thunk that she would end up in San Diego living with her mom in their VW bus, singing in coffee shops, and later being spotted by a talent scout from Atlantic Records? But that's showbiz. Well, thank you, Peter. That's a really great story. Now I have another near Knik story. You see, my family lived off of Goose Bay Road near Knik in around 1957, while it was still a 2-lane dirt road. My dad, Ray Doherty, was the foreman on the job, and he was there to upgrade the gravel-covered road. It's now a paved highway, by the way. Well, did you enjoy this edition of Alaska Stories? Until next time, Mike and Mary, Alaska Stories.